Welcome back to Story Stash. I'm your host Duncan, and these are some of my stories I've written. Today, I'm reading from my book Star Guardian, and this is chapter 15. So, let's get started. Chapter 15, Hide and Seek. We left orbit of Baglaji 4 and were en route to Baglaji 6, traveling slowly and under full stealth mode to minimize the possibility of being detected. We didn't know if we were being watched, but perhaps we were lucky and they hadn't noticed us. I had a growing sense of foreboding that something bad was about to happen. I didn't know where or when. We were unprepared for an attack from an unknown foe. Do we run or hide? We could gun it out of the system and use the hyperdrive to escape. Or we could stay and hide behind the moon. I needed to think. I retired to my cabin to work on a solution. When making maneuvers in space, it took time, so I had time to think. I regretted encouraging Jem to visit her homeworld. We had a whole universe to explore. Coming here seemed like a big mistake. Ship, how long until your 2 cloak probes reach their programmed destinations? And how long before we receive a response from them? I asked. I figured Ship was always listening. The probes should reach their destination in about 2 days, assuming they don't get intercepted. They will search for evidence and send a response after that. Until then, they are running silent with minimal power to avoid detection, said Ship. Thank you, Ship. When will we be behind a moon around Baglaji 6? At our current speed, we will be there in about 14 hours. Hypothetically, Ship, if we were to travel at maximum speed, how soon before we can engage hyperdrive? I saw no reason to stay if there was a powerful foe coming. About 6 hours, said Ship. Ship, I suggest you prepare a flight plan for an expedient exit of this system. If we detect incoming vessels and their flight path suggests they know our location, we can leave in a hurry. Also, if they have a way to track us through hyperspace, I suggest a strategy of multiple jumps in different directions to confuse anyone who might try to follow us, I said. Confirmed. Flight plan is prepared and ready, pending command approval, said Ship. Brian, what are you doing? Asked Jem. I turned around to find Jem at the entrance to my cabin. I hadn't closed the door, and she overheard me talking with Ship. Her tone of voice had me concerned. I was discussing some ideas with Ship. Please come in and I will explain, I said. We should include Kaluna as well. Ship, please page her to come here, said Jem. Confirmed, said Ship. Soon after, Kaluna arrived. I quickly explained my thinking so far. So, we are hiding, but you're also preparing for a quick exit? Asked Jem. Yes, it's possible that someone has observed us since we arrived, and they are tracking us now. In that case, they know our location. If we detect incoming vessels and they head directly to Baglaji 6, we can confirm that, I said. If they head to Baglaji 4, that indicates they don't know? Asked Jem. Yes, we can remain hidden and observe to learn what we can about the foe. If we later decide to leave, I suggest a trajectory that lets the planet hide our presence, I said. Is it possible that this foe are long gone and no vessel will arrive? Asked Kaluna. We both turned to her. Jem looked at me, so I took that as she wanted me to respond. It's possible. I sincerely hope that nothing arrives. If our probes find nothing and no vessel arrives, then I would agree with your hypothesis. We would then resume our exploration of the system. Alternatively, we can leave now. There's no Baglaji in this system. There's no sign of activity, possibly for centuries. So there's no compelling reason to stay, I said. Ship, how soon until we're hidden? Asked Jem. About 14 hours, responded Ship. I turned to face Jem. I'm sorry I encouraged you to come here. After the happy reunion Kaluna had with her parents, it seemed a good idea, I said. No, it was a good idea. We were so focused on homecoming we walked into a trap, said Jem. Let's get some rest until we arrive at Baglaji 6. Ship will alert us when we get there. We rested for a while. It was hard for me to ignore our situation, though. As we approached Baglaji 6, Ship alerted us to new developments. Our network is fully operational, but I've detected an anomaly, said Ship. Ship, define the nature of the anomaly, said Jem. The network has one more node than expected. As the new satellites established their orbits through the system and linked up, one additional node connected to the network, said Ship. An extra node? Asked Jem. Confirmed. The credentials are valid. It appears to be part of the original system network, said Ship. This piqued my interest. Let's return to the main bridge. Ship, have the locations of the network on the tactical display when we arrive, said Jem. We returned to the main bridge and looked at the tactical display. The display highlighted the extra node. It was on a small planetoid. The diagnostics and telemetry from the node indicated a weak signal, perhaps a damaged antenna array. It was the first sign of anything since we arrived. I have a question, I said. Then ask it, said Jem. This extra node, how do we know it is Baglaji or foe? I said. My healthy paranoia was screaming out. Ship, can you confirm the authenticity of this node? Asked Jem. The node has authenticated with valid Baglaji codes. Beyond that, I have no further data, said Ship. So, this extra node could be the last surviving node in the original network. It could have valuable intel. Or it could be a trap, pretending to be a node. Ship, what do we share with the network? Is this extra node aware of our location? I asked. All nodes are aware of our presence in the system. The extra node is also aware of the newly created nodes. Our last position update we made was at Baglaji 4, said Ship. Brian, I think you're onto something. Perhaps they left behind something that can pretend to be a Baglaji network node. Any ships arriving in the system would check in with the network, giving away their presence. But why didn't we detect this node when we arrived? I don't know. If we want answers, we have to investigate. Conversely, if we want to play it safe, we can leave this system and not return, I replied. Our curiosity might be the death of us. This extra node triggers our curiosity, but without enough data. It might be a trap. Any ship that ventures over to that planetoid triggers the trap, added Kaluna. I have a compromise. Ship, continue our course, but leave the node thinking we are still in orbit around Baglaji 4. Send a cloaked probe to the planetoid to investigate. We will both hide and investigate, said Jem. Confirmed, said Ship. Can we query the extra node without revealing our location? It might have answers for us, asked Kaluna. Good idea, Kaluna. Ship, you heard that. Find out what you can, but avoid revealing our true location, said Jem. Confirmed, said Ship. I have another idea. In case this extra node is foe, I suggest disinformation. Could you get Ship to fake a battle fleet of additional Baglaji vessels and have them check in to the network? They can report they are proceeding to Baglaji 4 to rendezvous with Ship. Ship can even fabricate some ship-to-ship message traffic via the network to further the deception, I suggested. Another good idea. Ship, can you do that? Asked Jem. Confirmed, said Ship. On the tactical display, we now saw the fake battle fleet entering the system. This is good work. There are a lot of unknowns, but I feel more prepared now. Thank you, both of you, said Jem. She was smiling now. We're crew, and we're in this together, said Kaluna. And so is Ship. Thank you, Ship. Yes, thank you, Ship, Jem said. Kaluna is right. You are a key part of the crew. Acknowledged. Attention, we're now in close orbit behind the moon of Baglaji 6, announced Ship. Ship, did you analyze the samples I brought back from Baglaji 4? I asked. The samples and scans from the planet's surface confirm a disaster occurred a long time ago. There's no sign of the cause. There was no chemical, radiation, or biological traces on which to base a conclusion, answered Ship. Thank you, Ship, I said. I turned to my two crewmates. So, what do we do now? We wait. Perhaps it is time for dinner, suggested Kaluna. I wasn't hungry, but it might be our last meal. I needed to come up with more ways to defend against this unknown foe. It had to be something unexpected. So far, I had nothing. That extra node had me scared. It was something real, but it raised more questions than answers. Perhaps some more ideas would come while we waited. Well, that concludes Chapter 15. In our next episode, we'll have Chapter 16, One Node Too Many. So, I hope to see you back for that. Until then, goodbye.